I'm your host, Tiffany Souter, and this is Scared Confident. I remember as a little girl being massively drawn to women that had an energy about them. And what that meant for me is I used to tell my mom, I want to walk fast, carry a big bag, and wear bright colors. And it was this energy of, I think, being seen, of having this sense of confidence and courage to live a life that to me read as confident and significant. And as I actually journeyed through life, there have been times where my spirit has actually felt that way. And there has been times when I've felt myself become small and shrink back and not step into that woman that I saw in my mind's eye. And as I externalized and began to discover this language for living a life of and, my mind in seasons has been self-limiting, that I can't be that person and also be a mom. I can't have a strong marriage and have pursuits that really give me energy intellectually. I can't have great friendships and also travel to speak. My mind was telling me I can't do those things. You have to pick the part of the playground that you're going to excel at, and the rest of it you're just going to have to let be. The seeds are going to lay dormant and they're never going to get planted. And as I've gone through this external understanding of my fear, I've come to this place that my soul screams to live a life of and, where I can be Tiffany and I can be a wife and I can be a mom and have relationships with my kids that I'm really proud of. And I can be a CEO of a company that I built in my 20s. And I can be an investor in people that I believe in a ton in. And I can be an owner to help another woman build a business that changes her and her family's life. I can do those things, and I can have this podcast, and I can be involved in my church. I don't know what else there is, but I can. Now, it's taken work for me to understand that life can be planted in a series of ands. It doesn't have to be that only one of those people, those versions of me, those interests of mine, not only one of those can be planted and grown. I can live a life of and. My grandma, my maternal grandmother, is a very strong, talented, incredible woman. She went to college, actually. Her dad was, I think, kind of ahead of his time when it came to seeing what it is that women could do. He was very empowering. But my grandmother spent most of her years supporting my grandfather in his pursuits of ministry and farming and the business interests that he was in. She really spent most of her time supporting him. And my mom was an only daughter and grew up very protected, like a princess. And the idea of her taking risks or doing things that were scary or exploring things that were outside of being a perfect girl were not really encouraged. And so as a young girl, the version of my mom was not that she held me back at all, but it was more, I think, one-dimensional. And as I started to get older, when I was in my mid-teens, my mom really began to explore some of her own interests in health and nutrition. And she really grew in a way that I think helped me to see that you could do more than just supporting your spouse or being a parent. And so I think that's part of why it's been difficult for me to see and understand what it looks like to be both proud of the role that I play domestically in my home and my family, and also really explore the adventurous side and the curious side of me that needs to be a person, like a me, and needs to be able to know what I can do and to like actually exercise my talents in a way that feels a little bit foreign, because that is not really the role that I saw the like strong women in my life play that were really, really close to me. It's not to make those wrong or mine right. It's just different. And so it does feel like a new frontier. I grew up in a small town, and so women who had jobs did not have careers. It wasn't like that. They had jobs and they were doing those simply to provide for their families in a very like basic level. It wasn't about building wealth or building careers or any of the stuff that I sort of see in my life today. And so I didn't have a model for what it looked like. And my stereotype in my head was that if I was going to have a career that was big, that I was going to need to do that at the consequence of a relationship with my kids. I was going to have to do that at the consequence of a relationship with my husband. And now those are certainly easy things to do, to pursue a career that in like a pace of life that has really negative consequences in the relationships closest to you. And I have played with that fire, but I learned through it and I've grown through that. So I think that's part of why it feels like I didn't know, can I be close with my husband, be close with my kids, and have this like rich professional life that honestly feeds me personally, where I'm better in all of the places, like sort of intimately in my family, with my family and my friends, that I'm better for those people. And I think vice versa. And this idea of like business relationships becoming personal friendships was also a very foreign concept to me. And to see the richness of life, of being introduced to people with totally different backgrounds, like totally different worldviews, totally different experiences in life, I think has brought a richness into our family that I didn't even know to like pursue or to want. And so this idea of living a life of choosing to allow the right ands into your life, to me is about living more freely in my talents instead of having these self-limiting beliefs about like, you have enough things in your life, Tiffany, like you need to stop now. And I don't know. It's not to say that you can say yes to everything. That's certainly not the case. But there are roles that I play in my life today that I don't think that I would have dared to dream of a decade ago. As I exited my fear journey and came to this place where I was able to articulate that the truth of my life, the truth of my soul, is that I am for others. That is really what brings me so much energy. I am the most productive, the most efficient, the most excited intellectually when I'm solving for other people and helping them build things and problem solving and stepping into relationships and difficult conversations. Like I get so much energy from helping things and people around me grow. And as I step into this season of like exploring and understanding, what does that really mean? It really is under this banner of I am for others. If that is my gifting, the thing that I am as an observer, a synthesizer, a simplifier, a like ability to be able to take a whole bunch of words and say, I think this is what you mean. I don't know why my brain can do that, but I have found when I step into situations where there's complexity or things that need to be solved or forward momentum that needs to be created, I'm helpful in those moments. And so you first have to find intrinsically the confidence to know that that is what you're good at. And then the confidence to step into the situations that can use your talents in ways that you know are helpful to propel forward the people and causes that you care a lot about. And in this part of my career, I'm just exploring the relationship of all that stuff. If you're just tuning in to Scared Confident, first, thanks for listening. And it might be helpful to go back to the beginning of the feed and listen to my fear journey, where I really look at what fear has been telling me and how I've worked to get on top of that and understand it. And I really invite you to continue this leg of my journey as really we explore what does it mean to live a confident life of and how do we understand our talents and the gifts that we have to give the world around us.